heart of Atacama burns under the midday sun. A Pacific iguana crawls low over the cracked earth, its gaze fixed on a solitary beetle making its way through the dust. The beetle stops, sensing vibrations. But it's too late. The iguana lunges, its jaws clenching with ruthless precision. This is the rhythm of the Atacama, the driest desert in the world. Here, on the central plateau, life itself begins to weaken and fade. The heart of Atacama is silent. There are no trees, there are no rivers, just salt and stone. Hyperarid core, the driest place on Earth outside of Antarctica. Here in some valleys it hasn't rained for centuries. The terrain is a mosaic of salt basins and gravel plains. During the day, the sun heats temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius. At night, the frost creeps in. The ground seems lifeless. But beneath the bark, tiny creatures move. A darkling beetle, Preochis peruana, is making its way through the gravel. It has waited all night in the cool safety of its burrow. Now it emerges to begin the day's search. With antennae sweeping the surface, it moves slowly. There is little to find. No plants, no streams, only fragments carried by the wind. A dry seed, a piece of organic matter, a dead insect brought from a distant valley. The beetle is a scavenger. Its body is armored against heat, its thick cuticle and waxy sheen protect it from the intense sun. But no defense is foolproof. It forages at dawn and dusk, moving away from the scorching midday heat. Every step is a risk. If it stays on the ground too long, it will die. When the heat increases, the beetle retreats. It burrows deeply, excavating tunnels in the sand. Down here, temperatures are stable and humidity is slightly higher. It can wait for days, weeks, or even months. The beetle slows its metabolism, conserving what little energy it has left. The beetle moves in a state between wakefulness and sleep. Outside, the desert scorches with heat during the day and freezes at night. Finally, a gust of wind lifts fresh dust onto the plateau. With it, fragments fall, moth wings, brittle stems carried from distant ravines. The beetle wakes. Its antennae twitch, its legs flex. It ascends once more toward the light. On the surface, danger is everywhere. A lizard waits, motionless against the stone, its gaze fixed on the slightest movement. The beetle freezes, merging with the gravel. Seconds pass like hours, then the lizard takes off. But the beetle falls, disappearing beneath the sand. However, the trip was not in vain. The beetle is carrying a prize in its hand. A dry seed, torn from the earth and scattered by the wind, and lives again to seek food. Soon others move. Camponotus morosus disperse across the plain. They move in bursts. They stop, taste, turn, run. Their antennae sweep the surface in search of the slightest trace of food. One finds the fragile wing of a fly, another the empty shell of a beetle larva. They converge and work as one. Together, they drag the prize back to their hidden colony. These first hours are the window of survival. By mid-morning, the rocks will burn. Temperatures exceed 40 degrees Celsius. Moisture evaporates in seconds. Any creature exposed will perish. The ants know this, and so retreat into hiding. Beneath the surface, entire colonies of ants descend into the cold layers beneath the gravel. The workers crowd the passageways. The queen remains motionless, guarded in her chamber. For hours, days, months if necessary, they remain imprisoned. When food is scarce, the ant colony decreases its activity. Workers become lethargic. The queen stops laying eggs. The entire society falls into a state of lethargy. They don't die, they wait. Only when chance brings moisture does the colony revive, but it has never rained here in all of known history. Still, moisture reaches here through the faint fog, micro-humidity pulses, or extraordinary anomalies of El Niño. When that happens, the dormancy ends. The ants rise to the surface. They rebuild tunnels, repair chambers, and collect wind-borne seeds. The desert blooms with activity, but only for a brief period. But those moments are rare. In most years, there is no fog or rain, just dryness. The ants ration their supplies and live on crumbs. Then there are the predators. A lizard watches from the rocks, its eyes fix on an ant's trail. It waits for a worker to stray too far, and then it attacks. The ant disappears in an instant. The sun rises. The ground glows with heat. The surface is empty now. All life has retreated. In the driest desert on Earth, where rain may not fall for decades, life persists. At dawn, the rocks glisten with frost. From a crack in the stone, a head emerges. A lizard, the Atacama Pacific iguana, Microlophus atacamensis. He doesn't move. The night has left his body rigid, almost lifeless. His breathing is shallow. His heartbeat is slow. Only when the first rays touch the ground does it move. The lizard creeps forward, flattening itself against the sun-warmed stone. Its ribs expand, its skin darkens, absorbing the heat. Slowly, the desert's energy seeps into its veins. The hunt can begin. It scans the gravel plain. A beetle moves slowly on the salt-covered ground. The lizard lunges. The attack is swift, its jaws clamping down. The beetle is swallowed in seconds. Another shape slinks close, an ant straying too far from its trail. The lizard's tongue flicks out, its body arches, and the insect disappears. By mid-morning, the heat increases. The ground is burning. Stones burn. The lizard can't stay up there. In the safety of its crevice, it rests. Its movements slow, its body cools in the shade. Outside, the desert empties. Hours pass. The sun sets. The temperature drops. Once again, the lizard crawls into the open. Soon, the air cools enough for another hunt. A fly hovers low over the gravel. The lizard waits, motionless as a stone. Then it attacks. The fly is caught in mid-air, swallowed whole. A moth approaches, flapping its wings. Soon, the desert cools rapidly. The lizard slows down with the drop in temperature. It presses against the rock, retaining the heat of the day. Frost will form again. In winter, this struggle intensifies. Nights drop below zero. Insects retreat, leaving little to hunt. The lizard slows its metabolism, moving less and eating less, waiting for the lean season to pass. But when summer returns, the pace accelerates. Eggs buried under the gravel hatch into tiny lizards. From their earliest days, they must follow the same rhythm, bask in the sun, hunt, hide, survive. Many fail and many succeed. In a desert where rain may not fall for decades, this reptile thrives on margins measured by degrees of heat and seconds of speed. But not all regions are the same. Still, the danger remains. The morning mist rolls in from the Pacific, clinging to the cliffs. Here, on the Atacama coast, a degu scampers among the sparse coastal grass bushes. But danger lurks. A culpeo fox crouches against the rocks. It has spotted the small rodent. The degu freezes, but he feels nothing. Suddenly the fox pounces. The harsh Atacama law takes its toll. Meanwhile, the Pacific is cold, grey and endless. From there rises the fog of the Camanchaca. A slow tide of steam moving deeper into the interior climbs the arid slopes. The desert here is different. It's not completely dry like the central plateau. The hills trap the fog, keeping it close. Moisture sticks to stone, sand, and the thorns of bushes. Lichens spread in pale crusts on the rocks. Sparse grasses raise their blades. Small shrubs anchor the slopes. Here the fog is like rain. It is life. On the crest of a dune, a fog beetle, Physogaster nitidicollis. The fog is thick. The beetle stops, tilts its body and waits. Its back faces the fog, its head lowered into the sand. Droplets accumulate on its dark shell. They merge, roll, and head forward. A drop of water reaches its mouth. The beetle drinks. He holds this position for minutes, sometimes hours. Once satisfied, move on. All along the slope, others repeat the act. At night, the fog thickens and covers the hills. In the morning, it condenses into droplets. At noon, the sun bursts through, consuming them. The plants shrink and fall silent. The beetles burrow beneath the sand, and silence returns until the next wave of fog rolls inland. But while it lasts, the fog sustains an entire community. The fog beetle must climb to the right place, the right dune, at the right time. If it's too early, the fog dissipates. If it's too late, the sun has already dissipated it. Predators also lurk. A lizard darts out of a crevice, catching a beetle in mid-drink. A bird flies low and catches another from the sand. However, the beetles return there every day. They must do it. Without fog, there is no life here. On rare mornings, the fog is especially dense. The dunes drip, the bushes glisten, and the ground itself is damp. Insects multiply. Beetles drink abundantly. Ants emerge from their nests in chaotic swarms. Even spiders spin webs through the grass, trapping prey attracted by the sudden moisture. For a brief moment, the desert feels abundant. But at noon, the sun already rises. The fog retreats towards the sea. The air dries. The dunes harden. Generations of fog beetles are tied to this cycle. Eggs are laid in moist sand and hatch when the fog is most stable. The larvae burrow deep, waiting for safe nights to emerge. The adults absorb the fog day after day, season after season. The fog beetle thrives here daily, while its cousin in the core survives on scraps and detritus. Meanwhile, on the Atacama coast, for a brief season, the desert softens. The plants awaken, the leaves unfold, the buds open, and with the flowers come the butterflies. Wings, orange and black, beat swiftly in the thin air. The Chilean painted lady, Vanessa Caria. Although fragile, they have perfectly calculated their arrival. The humidity has returned. The bushes are in bloom. The desert offers nectar and a chance to reproduce. The butterflies scatter across the hillsides, stopping at each flower. They uncurl their tongues, rummaging through the blossoms. The males patrol fiercely, launching themselves at their rivals, defending the flowering areas. The females move among the bushes, choosing where to lay their eggs. The eggs are tiny, almost invisible. Hidden under the leaves, within days they hatch. The caterpillars emerge, tiny and hungry. They gnaw through the soft green tissue, growing at an astonishing speed. While they feed, they also risk becoming prey. Spiders lurk in the stems. Ants patrol the leaves. Birds fly over our heads. Many will not survive, but those that do shed their skin over and over again, swelling more with each stage. Then they form a chrysalis, suspended from a stem, motionless and fragile. Inside, the caterpillar transforms. Days later, the capsule trembles. It splits, and a new butterfly emerges, moist with its wings folded. Slowly, it expands its wings and hardens them for flight. Then, with a flash of orange, he joins the others in the air. But the season is short. The fog dissipates. The sun is getting hotter and hotter. The bushes wither, the flowers wither, nectar is scarce. The butterflies mate again, lay eggs again, and flee to the dry ground. Another generation may emerge before the bloom ends, perhaps two. But soon the cycle will be broken. As the last flowers wither, the butterflies disappear. Some move south, others perish in the same place where they were born. In other valleys, where the fog lingers longer, the butterflies continue their cycle. Meanwhile, the sun sets behind the Pacific Ocean. Heat filters through the rocks. A silence spreads across the hills. Then, from the burrows, movement is heard. Small heads appear, their whiskers twitching and their eyes open. Degus. Octodon degus. During the day they remain hidden, but at night the earth softens, the fog moves down the slopes, rodents emerge, they move swiftly, flitting through the bushes, their snouts close to the ground. They search for seeds, leaves, anything green enough to chew. Their bodies burn. Without water-rich plants they cannot survive. In good years, when the fog of the Camanchaca is thick and the bushes bloom, the hills seem teeming with life. Families eat together. The young people chase each other in the darkness. The adults remain alert, ready to escape, but danger is never far away. A culpeo fox walks silently among the rocks. Owls circle, ghostly against the stars, waiting for movement below. Even snakes lurk under the bushes. One false step is fatal, yet for every rodent captured, more are left behind. The burrows are their refuge. Burrowing deep into the loose earth, they form a network of tunnels and chambers. Here the degus rest, breed and raise their young. The air is fresher, the walls are safe. Together, they share the space. Dozens of them stay together in close-knit groups. When the soil is benign, they reproduce quickly. A female may have 2 or even 3 litters per season, each with half a dozen young. The young grow rapidly, nourished by green shoots and seeds swollen by the mist. They soon join the nocturnal forays, increasing the number of young on the surface. But Atacama does not remain friendly for long. In years of scarcity, the bushes wither, the seeds disappear, the water inside the plants dries up until it disappears. Then the colonies are reduced, the litters are less numerous. Many puppies do not survive, but when the fog thickens again, the land blooms. And with it, the rodents return in force. Reproductive peaks follow each pulse of moisture. In El Niño years, when rain lashes the normally arid plateau, the Atacama teems with life. Seeds buried for decades sprout at once. Flowers cover the gravel. Degus feed without pause. They reproduce without restrictions. These years are also a celebration for predators. But the reward never lasts. In a matter of months, the flowers wither, the ground dries, and the fog dissipates. The rodents retreat underground. Many die. Even now, in the dead of night, a seed is unearthed, cracked between nimble claws. A leaf is torn off and swallowed. Then a shrill scream. One freezes, ears pricked, body rigid. The ground vibrates with padded footsteps. The fox has returned. A race. Dust rises in the air. Tails glisten. Some reach the burrow in time. One doesn't. The fox attacks, jaws clenching and tail whipping as it carries its prey into the darkness. By dawn, the degus are gone, hidden once again underground. Meanwhile, the Pacific crashes against the black cliffs. The foam churns, seagulls flutter, cormorants dive, and in the waves the elegant and swift Humboldt penguins, Spheniscus humboldti, white and black. They cut through the waves like torpedoes, streamlined bodies spin and roll and wings flap like fins. The anchovies scatter and the school disintegrates in a flash of silver. The chase is furious. Each penguin pounces, snapping its beak, swallowing the fish whole. For minutes the sea boils with the hunt. Then, just as quickly as it began, the flock regroups. These are not the icy penguins of Antarctica. They belong on the edge of the desert. They head for the narrow strip where the Atacama meets the ocean. Here the cold, nutrient-rich Humboldt current begins. The penguins perch on the rocks, their bodies drenched and their gazes piercing. They climb clumsily, scraping with their claws and with their wings spread for balance. They have come to land to reproduce. High above the tide, burrows mark the cliffs. Some are dug into guano deposits, others into sandy soil. Pairs crawl inside. They strengthen their bonds with ritual reverences, bowing their heads and flapping their wings. Inside the burrows, the eggs lie cradled, two, sometimes just one. The parents take turns. One broods, the other hunts. The heat outside is relentless, but inside the burrow it's cool, shady, and safe. The chicks hatch, blind and helpless. Their cries are faint and constant. The parents return with their crops full of half-digested fish. They pump it into the open mouths of their young. This is by no means a risk-free adventure. Predators patrol the waves. Sea lions launch themselves from the waves. Kelp gulls swoop down, catching the unwary. Even on land, danger lurks. Turkey vultures circle overhead, waiting for the weak, and yet the chicks grow. Down becomes feathers, weak cries in the face of bold calls. Soon they gather at the mouths of burrows, staring into the blinding light and the ocean. Not all will make it. In lean years the birds starve, the parents return with nothing. The eggs spoil, the chicks die. When the current is strong, fish abound. The colonies prosper. When it fails during El Niño years, the balance collapses. The ocean is warming, anchovies disperse into deeper waters. The birds are left hungry, stranded, and unable to feed their young. The numbers are plummeting. Some colonies disappear completely. Still, when the current returns, so do the penguins. Beneath the surface, thousands of anchovies move. Packed together, their bodies shine like liquid silver. Above, the sky stirs. A cloud of black and white wings gathers, circling. They are the Peruvian boobies, Sula variegat. They climb higher, even higher, waiting for the moment. Then, the plunge. The sky is collapsing. One bird after another folds its wings and falls. They crash into the water at an estimated speed of 100 miles per hour. The sea erupts into spray, 100 splashes at once. Anchovies scatter in all directions. Boobies rise, each with a silver beak. They swallow their catch, turn upside down, and dive again. Again and again, the storm of wings continues. From the cliffs, the colony watches. Thousands of hungry chicks cry out. For them, every fish caught in the sea is life. For the parents, every dive is a risk. Sea lions attack the surface. Some birds escape with their feathers torn. Others are dragged underwater in an explosion of foam. But they still dive. Wave upon wave of birds, folding their wings, swoop down with precision. The sandbank shrinks. The silvery flashes diminish. Finally, the sea calms. The boobies take flight again, their bellies full. The hunt is over. Back on the cliffs, the scene changes. The birds return in flocks, their bellies laden with fish. They land awkwardly on guano-covered ledges, flapping their wings and moving with difficulty. Pairs greet them with ritual bows, nodding their heads and tapping their beaks in unison. The chicks raise their heads, squawking. The parents crouch, regurgitating anchovies in a thick, oily stream. When the Humboldt current is strong and cold, anchovies are abundant. The cliffs throb with life. The hunts are endless. The chicks thrive. But in El Niño years, when the ocean warms, the sandbanks disperse into the depths, colonies collapse. Chicks starve in their burrows, parents return empty-handed. Entire seasons fail. Even in good years like this one, the danger is constant. Kelp gulls circle above the cliffs. A lone chick huddles in a crevice, its soft feathers ruffled by the wind. Its parents have gone to sea. A shadow passes overhead. A kelp gull circles, its eyes alert and its talons ready. The chick freezes, the gull dives, small claws scratch the rock, the beak snaps, the chick squeals. In the blink of an eye, the seagull catches the chick. He moves into the air with his catch. Below, the colony calls, but the young bird is no longer there. Meanwhile, back at the colony, at dusk, the frenzy fades. The last hunters emerge from the waves, soaked, exhausted, laden with their prey. The cliffs darken, the songs soften, and the sea turns black again. Only the crashing of the waves can be heard. Another sandbank will rise tomorrow, another chorus of chicks will scream demanding food, and the breasts will respond. Meanwhile, the Atacama waits. For decades, the land has been barren. Suddenly, it happens. The clouds gather. Loaded with moisture from the Pacific, they push inland. El Niño distorts the climate, and the desert overflows. A few millimeters of rain, nothing more. Seeds buried for years are stirred up in the soil. Within days, the color spreads across the slopes. The desert blooms. The Alstroemeria flames orange against the rock. Nolana spills purple and blue onto the sand. Thousands, millions of flowers open at once. This is the rare flowering desert. With flowers, life flows. Hoverflies buzz low, darting from flower to flower. Moths soar through the clouds at dusk, their wings covered in pollen. Bees buzz furiously, their hives brimming with nectar. The insects multiply at an astonishing rate. A week later, none remain. Next, the air vibrates with their wings. Predator warning. Lizards emerge from the rock crevices. They feast, catching flies, gobbling moths, gorging themselves on prey they'd never before have been able to find in such quantity. Rodents follow them. Dagus and voles emerge from their burrows to take advantage of the opportunity. But in the desert, abundance attracts hunters. The kestrels arrive first, gliding over the meadows. With a sudden plunge, they attack, closing their talons on a rodent fattened by the bloom. On the rocks, culpeos sneak up. They stalk rodents, lizards, any creature that dares to enjoy this sudden abundance. From above, the desert is unrecognizable. Then, as quickly as it began, it ends. The sun gets harsher. The ground dries up. Flowers wither. Petals curl and colors fade to dust. The insects disappear almost as suddenly as they appeared. The lizards retreat into the crevices. Rodents descend into burrows. The kestrels drift away. The foxes move on. But despite everything, the heart of Atacama shines white. Here an avose wades into the shallows, its long legs cut across the mirrored surface. Its upturned bill moves back and forth in constant arcs, scanning the brine. Small ripples reveal hidden prey. Brine shrimp. The avocet attacks, then more sweeps, more captures. The salt stretches to the horizon, crusted and cracked under a burning blue sky. Rain is almost unknown here. However, hidden beneath the blinding crust, water seeps upwards. It accumulates in shallow basins, trapped in shimmering lagoons. And within this hostile brine, life endures. Tiny, fragile, and relentless brine shrimp are no strangers to extremes. They swim where no fish can survive. Hypersaline waters, which would kill most creatures, are their refuge. The cycle is relentless. Females carry clutches of eggs. Within days, the eggs hatch into nauplai, or tiny larvae. These nauplai flap their limbs in unison, filtering food from the salty broth. Their food, microscopic algae. In summer, as temperatures rise, Andean meltwater filters into the lagoons, softening the salinity. Brine shrimp respond instantly. Populations increase to millions. Above, the flamingos descend. Their long legs pierce the water's surface. Their downward-turned beaks arch. They filter the brine, devouring thousands of shrimp in each bite. For the shrimp, escape is impossible. Their survival is only possible thanks to their large numbers. When the water thickens and the salinity exceeds their tolerance, they change strategy. The eggs are sealed in protective cysts, tiny shells hardened against heat, cold, and the passage of time itself. These cysts sink to the bottom of the lagoon. They can wait years, even decades, until the water softens again. Then, with the first hint of change, life resumes. Meanwhile, the Atacama salt flats stretch on endlessly. Shallow lagoons are scattered among fields of blinding salt. At first they appear empty, then a movement. Long legs slice through the water, pink wings shimmer against the desert sky, flamingos. In the morning the birds wade in arcs, heads tilt, beaks move from side to side. Each stroke filters out shrimp and algae, which accumulate in delicate combs inside their beaks. At midday the heat intensifies, the air scorches, the water shrinks under the glare of the sun. The flamingos retreat to deeper waters, their wings half open to cool off. Their feathers shimmer, colored by the pigments of the food they consume. Without shrimp and seaweed, their pink color would fade, but gaps are fickle. Water levels rise and fall with distant snowfall in the Andes. One year, a basin is rich and teeming with food. The next, it dries up and turns into cracked salt. The flamingos must move from one lagoon to another, sometimes hundreds of kilometers away. They fly in flocks. In summer, meltwater flows and fills the pools. Salinity dilutes, shrimp bloom, propagation of algae. Naturally, flamingos gather by the thousands. In winter, the ice hardens the lagoons at dawn, and the birds become paralyzed. Their feet are trapped in thin sheets of ice. However, with the sun, the water softens and feeding resumes. Breeding is scarce and demanding. High on remote salt flats, birds build mud mounds. A single egg rests on each nest, watched over by its parents. For weeks, the adults care for and feed the chick. The chicks grow rapidly with sturdy legs and uncurved beaks. Only after a few months will they learn to feed like adults. Predators are few, but danger is never absent. A juvenile flamingo nestles at the edge of the lagoon. Its down is still damp from the night. It cautiously lifts a leg, searching for brine shrimp in the shallow waters. Above, a kelp gull circles silently. With its black wings, the predator focuses on the chick. The flamingo freezes. It senses danger, but it's too late. The gull dives. The chick takes off, but its legs falter in the sticky mud. The predator pounces. A wing flaps, a velvety body struggles, and then it disappears, lifted into the sky. Alarm calls echo across the lagoon, but now nothing can be done. Not far away, a culpeo fox moves along the receding banks. Its fur blends with the salt and sand, its body crouched and its ears pricked. Another juvenile. This one also senses danger. The bird raises its head in warning. The fox crouches and then leaps. The flamingo begins to flap its wings desperately. Water splashes over its paws and mud flies everywhere. The fox slips, misjudges its jump and stumbles. The chick reaches deeper water, shaking off the sand. For now, it has survived. The fox hides in the shadows. The days go by, then a new dawn. But something feels different. The usual schools of silvery anchovies have disappeared. The Humboldt Current has warmed, scattering the fish into the depths. An adult flamingo raises its long neck, peering into the brine. It stretches its wings. It walks with a firm step through the shallow pools. The filter tip is submerged, raised, and filters again. Nothing. Tiny brine shrimp are rare. Other adults gather, heads lowered and beaks moving in synchronized arcs. The competition increases. One successfully filters an area, the others jostle, snapping their wings and tensing their long necks. From above, kelp gulls look for easy prey or eggs abandoned due to stress. Even adults are cautious. A seagull dives near the edge of a shallow pool. The flamingos spread out, wings outstretched, creating a living barrier around those still foraging. Some escape unharmed, others are chased away, their beaks empty, forced to search elsewhere. The sun rises higher, the pools are shrinking, the heat evaporates the little remaining water. The flamingos hop from one area to another, their necks flexed and their feet buried in the thick, salty mud. Adults can last longer than chicks, but each extra hour without food weakens their muscles and reduces their readiness for flight. As evening falls, desperation increases. Some abandon the lagoon altogether, walking toward distant pools. Others stay. But in El Niño years, there is no relief. As the sun sets behind the steep cliffs, the adults huddle at the remaining edges, their feathers ruffled by the wind. Yet even in the toughest year, life goes on. But this too shall pass, and when the shallow lagoons shimmer blue, fed by the distant Andean snowmelt, avocets and ducks migrate en masse. They arrive with the rains when the meltwater fills the basins and softens the brine. The floors, usually silent, vibrate with voices. The avocet is elegant, long-legged, black and white. Its bill curves upward like a scythe. With deft movements, it slices through the water, filtering insects and shrimp from the surface. Beside them, ducks paddle furiously, skimming and diving with their bills. But they're not here just for the food. Summer brings a unique opportunity. With the water stable and the banks gentle, they nest. Along the edge of the lagoon, the avocet excavates shallow cavities in the mud. 4 speckled eggs, camouflaged against the bark, lie exposed to the sky and wind. A mother avocet stands sentry. Her mate is far away, searching for small crustaceans and insect larvae. Meanwhile, a culpeo fox glides along the distant shore. The father freezes. All his feathers stiffen. The eggs are defenseless. The fox approaches, attracted by the scent, but the father refuses to back down. It raises its wings with a sudden flap, growing larger. High-pitched cries pierce the air. The fox stops. Its ears flap. Then it lunges. The parent lunges forward, flapping its wings, smacking it in the face. Its beak snaps, its feet sink into the mud. The fox steps back, startled. The avocet dives again, stalks the predator relentlessly. The fox turns hesitantly. Finally, he returns to the flats. The eggs are safe for now. Ducks also claim their place. They weave grasses and reeds to create hidden cradles, secret nests near the water's surface. Their eggs rest under soft down, warmed by bodies that never stray far. The chicks hatch in sudden bursts. The fluffy ducklings spill into the shallow water. The little paddlers quickly follow their mother's example. Avocet chicks are born running, their long legs carrying them across the plains in a matter of hours, vulnerable, restless, always watched. Their parents surround them, vigilant. Every shadow above is a threat. Every ripple in the water could mean danger. The lagoon also teems with fragile life. Mosquitoes hatch in the clouds, brine shrimp bloom on red beans, and chicks feed avidly. Yet day by day the water dwindles. The sun draws moisture skyward, leaving rings of salt around the lagoon. Food makes you lose weight. The pools are fragmented. The coasts extend inland, exposing nests that once stood at the water's edge. Some are abandoned. Now predators circle more boldly. A chick curls up on the edge of a shrinking puddle, wet and tangled, its legs trembling. Its parents are on alert. From the shadows emerges a culpeo fox, its fur mixed with mud and salt. Its eyes glitter, its snout twitches, it moves silently. The chick detects the movement too late. He heads quickly towards the water. Small claws slide over the slippery mud. The fox lunges. It flaps its wings uselessly. It opens its beak in a desperate screech. The predator closes the chick's jaws. The feathers scatter in the wind. A parent runs, flapping its wings, but the fox is already retreating. The chick is gone. The surviving chicks freeze. Parents call, scan, and reposition. The danger is constant. Seagulls swoop down from above. Foxes prowl the shallow waters. Families must move. The flocks suddenly rise. The ducks take off first, heading for wetlands beyond the desert. The avocets also fly in restless groups. The nursery empties as quickly as it filled. Not all survive the journey. The chicks are left behind. Storms lash the plateau. Some ponds dry up before the chicks are ready, leaving families abandoned. Still, quite a few remain. Those who succeed will return. When the summer rains refill the basins, when the melting snow softens the salt and the lagoons breathe again, the cycle resumes. Ducks chatter in the shallows. Avocets move their curved beaks through the water. The nests will rise again from the mud and reeds. Meanwhile, Atacama seems endless, but here the earth folds inwards. Ravines cut through the desert. Ravines. Here a rodent crawls among thorny bushes. It has searched for food all night, but it is not alone. A culpeo fox crouches behind the rocks, its ears pricked and its body tense. Suddenly, a light scratch. In an instant, the fox pounces. The chase is brief. The rodent is caught and its jaws squeeze it tightly. A flick of his tail and the hunter disappears into the darkness. These channels have been excavated by ancient floods. Dry for most of the year, they collect the little water that still reaches them from the distant heights. Life clings among the rocks. The cacti rise, tough, low shrubs. The puddles appear after rare rains. In these oases lives the southern vizcacha, Lagidium viscacia. At first glance, it looks like a rabbit with long ears and a rough snout, but its thick, bushy tail curls up. It looks more like a squirrel than a hare. Its eyes, open and alert, are always watching. During the day, sunbathe. On the sun-warmed ledges, it stretches motionless, absorbing heat through its fur. The desert is cold in the morning, even colder at night. To survive, it gathers heat early and stores it deep underground, then it waits. Still like a stone, it perches on the outcrops. Hawks circle above our heads. Foxes prowl below. One careless move could mean death. However, on the rock it is safe and blends perfectly with the broken cliffs. But as night falls, the vizcacha awakens. It abandons its perch and silently descends to the bottom of the ravine. Here, among bushes and grasses that take root in hidden veins of moisture, it feeds. Tender shoots, cactus, seeds scattered by the wind. The family continues. Vizcachas live in colonies. Dozens huddle in a maze of crevices and ledges. They move together, grazing in scattered groups, their ears constantly on the alert. A sudden alarm and they all disappear among the rocks, swallowed by the shadows. For predators, the chase often ends in frustration. This nocturnal search for food is relentless. The cycle repeats night after night, year after year, but the rhythm changes with the seasons. When it rains in distant areas, even lightly, plants develop new shoots in the ravine soil. For a few short weeks, food is plentiful, bellies round out, coats shine. And at those times, the vizcachas reproduce. The moment is precise. A single litter once a year, only when conditions permit. Mothers give birth to their young in hidden crevices sheltered by rocks. The tiny bodies emerge blind, defenseless, fed with rich milk until they manage to climb to the ledges. Soon, they join the colony. They will learn from adults, the roots, the dangers, the art of survival. Predators know the cycle. A Harris's hawk perches high on a ledge, its talons gripping the rock, its gaze fixed on the movement below. A vizcacha emerges from a crevice, its tail twitching and its snout sniffing the dry air. It cautiously nibbles at a thorny bush, listening for any sound. Then a high-pitched scream cuts through the air. A vizcacha freezes, then another, and another one. Instantly, the colony erupts. The bodies vanish into the crevices. With folded wings and extended talons, the falcon dives. A vizcacha miscalculates a leap between the rocks. The predator catches it. Silence falls. The rest of the colony huddles in the shaded crevices. Even when night falls and the desert cools, the danger persists. Some survive, others perish. But the vizcacha colony persists. Generations coexist. They defecate in communal latrines. Their scent marks the territory for decades. In years of drought, plants wither and forage dwindles. The vizcachas weaken. Some colonies disappear, forced to abandon one ravine for another. But when the rains return, the cycle resumes. Young people are born. The rocks resonate once more with the sound of claws. For now, as a new day dawns, the colony returns to its ledges. They stretch, yawn, and become still again. But night falls quickly on the desert. The ravines come alive in the darkness, and from among the rocks emerges a hunter, the culpeo fox, Lycalopex culpeus. Its fur is thick, grey and reddish, and blends in with the dust and undergrowth. His eyes glow amber in the fading light, his paws pad softly on the gravel, barely a sound. The fox is an opportunist. In this desert, he must be. Tonight he listens. The faint whisper of a rodent, the dry snap of an insect's wings. His ears swivel, picking up the slightest tremor in the silence. Then a pause, a jump. The dust disperses. A screech breaks the night. The hunt is a success. The culpeo feeds on the vizcacha, quick bites, a crunch of bone. Within minutes it disappears, snout raised, already in search of its next prey. Insects abound after the rains. Grasshoppers, beetles, and moths swarm along the banks of the ravine. The fox takes them easily, photographing them from the air, pulling them out of the ground. For weeks, insects make up the majority of their diet. But when the flowers wither, when the insects disappear, the fox adapts. Rodents, vizcachas, birds that nest low on the edges of the ravine. Rodents are its favorites. The fox knows their tracks. It waits at the entrance to the burrows, motionless as a stone. The time has come. Hit. Another award won. But the fox isn't alone. Birds of prey soar overhead. Owls float silently in the darkness. All compete for the same prey. The balance is delicate and the fox must be flexible. Sometimes it follows the trail of carrion, the remains of falcons or vultures. Sometimes it plunders eggs from shallow nests. In times of scarcity, the fox ventures closer to human settlements on the edges of the desert, waste collection, stealing chickens, picking fruit from the orchards. Many have fallen into traps and bullets. In the ravines, the fox plays a vital role. Every rodent captured, every insect consumed, shapes the delicate balance of this ecosystem. By controlling their population, they prevent overgrazing of shrubs and sparse grasses. Reproduction also follows the seasons. When prey is abundant, pairs gather together. They dig a burrow in sandbanks or under rocks. There, the young are born, tiny, blind, meowing in search of warmth. Both parents are responsible for providing food, bringing food to the burrow, and fiercely protecting it from intruders. Young people grow up fast. Within a matter of weeks, they emerge to play at the entrance to the burrow. Their games mimic hunting, jumping, chasing, and biting. Soon they follow the adults on their forays into the ravines, learning to stalk, listen, and catch prey. By their first year, they are hunters in their own right, ready to disperse. They will forge new territories in this unforgiving landscape. Dangers always lurk around them. Pumas hunt in the highlands and sometimes descend into the ravines. Eagles attack from above. Disease, hunger, and human persecution take their toll. Nevertheless, The culpeo persists. Its range extends across the Andes from Patagonia to Peru. This makes it one of the most widespread carnivores in South America. Back in the ravine, the night advances. The fox stops at a puddle left by the fleeting rains. He drinks deeply, his snout rippling the reflection of the stars. Then, with a toss of his fur, he slinks away once more. A rodent darts forward. The chase is instantaneous, silent. The dust rises. Then it is installed. At dawn, the fox withdraws. It climbs up the rocks and curls up, forming a hollow. There he rests, his fur warmed by the first light and his body motionless after hours of wandering. The ravine falls silent again, as if nothing were moving in the night. As the sun sets over the ravine, the cactus spines gleam like crystal in the morning light, and from the silence emerges a unique sound, a buzzing, fast, trembling. The song belongs to the oasis hummingbird, Rhodopis vesper. It hovers in front of a cactus flower, beating at an estimated speed of 50 times per second or more. Its wings appear a blur. Its body hangs suspended, motionless in space. Its beak plunges deep into the flower. The nectar is sucked away. Flowers are scarce, but the bird must know every flower, every cactus, every bush that dares to bloom. The bird remembers. Throughout the day, the hummingbird flies from perch to flower, from flower to flower. It feeds every few minutes without much rest. Its heart beats faster than any desert mammal. Its body burns fuel at a frantic pace. Without nectar, you can't last an hour, but the relationship is mutual. Every flower visited is also pollinated. The pollen coats its beak and sticks to its feathers. It is transported from cactus to cactus, from bush to bush. The bird ensures its survival as much as its own. In normal years, flowers are few, scattered and ephemeral. The hummingbird expands its distribution area. Sometimes it must fly for miles over gravel and rock. In blooming years, everything changes. The hillsides glow with flowers, alstroemerias, nolanas, cacti, blooms bursting with color, and the hummingbird thrives. It gorges on nectar, which gives it energy for long days of flight, and it reproduces. Males take to the air to display. They soar and swoop in arcing motions, their wings slicing through the air with high-pitched trills. Their iridescent feathers gleam in the sun, green and bronze, attracting attention. Females watch from the shade of the bushes. They must choose carefully. Every pair must be strong, every nest secure. When conditions permit, the nests appear, small cups woven from spider silk, plant fibers, and cactus fluff, hidden among bushes, concealed among thorns. Inside lie eggs no bigger than a fingernail. The female is the only one who takes care of them. She keeps, she warms up, she feeds. The chicks are born blind, naked and helpless. She thrusts her beak into their mouths, dripping nectar and insects, a diet rich enough to fuel growth. But survival is never guaranteed. A tiny hummingbird flutters near their nest. Its beak dips into a bright flower to sip the nectar. Their chicks chirp softly, hidden among thorns and protective leaves. Below, a small Andean snake slithers silently among the branches. Its tongue is raised, searching for eggs or chicks. The parent snake senses danger. It freezes. Then it lunges forward, spreading its wings and emitting shrill, piercing screeches. The snake stops, startled. Then he recoils from the sudden onslaught of sound and movement. Moments pass. The chicks nervously peek out from the edge of the nest, soft chirps echoing. The father continues his defensive display, flapping his wings and flicking his tail feathers. The snake tests the attack, moving closer. Another dive. Another blow of feathers and calls. Finally, the predator retreats. The chicks remain safe in their nest, shaking but alive. Day by day, they develop their feathers, form wings, and gain strength. Within weeks, they flutter clumsily around the edge of the nest. They will soon fly through the air. As night falls, the hummingbird faces another challenge: the cold. Nighttime temperatures in the ravines plummet. For such a small, fast-burning creature, the risk is enormous. To resist, she slows down. Her body slipped into a slumber. Her heart rate dropped, her temperature plummeted. At dawn, she awoke again, ready for another day. This cycle repeats itself, day after day, year after year. For now, the ravine remains motionless. The dry air tightens, dust accumulates where the wind has passed. Here, insects are scarce. Solitary bees flutter low, Anthidium tergomarginatum. Their antennae sweep the ground. They look for areas of soil soft enough to burrow into, a small depression. Perfect. She digs. It carries pollen and nectar for its single egg. Above, the sun burns. The bee retreats into the narrow tunnel. Then the clouds arrive. Grey wisps drift down from the high Andes. The air cools. A single drop of rain falls on the parched earth. The ground softens. Life awakens. Solitary bees emerge. Their wings gleam. They move swiftly among the flowers, collecting nectar and pollen for their young. Every bee is alone, but together they create a hum that fills the ravine. A bee lands on a bright Nolana flower. With its wings folded and antennae moving, it sips the nectar. Meanwhile, a small Liolimus lizard crawls along a nearby branch. With sharp eyes and a flicking tongue, it spots the bee, motionless for a moment. The predator attacks. The bee reacts instantly. It darts sideways, then upwards, taking off before the lizard can close the distance. The lizard stings at nothing, clicking its tongue in frustration. The bee hovers nearby over another flower. The day continues. Across the ravine, other bees are digging, stocking up and foraging. One lands on a newly opened Nolana flower, depositing a load of pollen. Another brushes against a fragile leaf. The flowering desert expands. The hillsides are resplendent with alstroemerias and other flowers. Hoverflies, moths, and small butterflies appear. Bees fly among themselves. Pollen fills the air, feeding lizards, rodents, and hummingbirds. Solitary bees are under constant threat. Birds peck, spiders stalk, the heat returns. Each bee relies on speed, concealment, and timing. They take advantage of every pulse of moisture, every flower, a false step, a gust of wind, a shadow, and life can end. But most survive. Each one carries its load to a hidden nest to supply your egg. Weeks go by. The desert sun warms the surface. Moisture from the scarce rainfall seeps in. Inside the egg, life stirs. A larva emerges, translucent and tiny, hungry. It begins to feed on the pollen and nectar carefully stored by its mother. The soil above is cool, which protects it from the heat and predators. Outside, the desert roars. The wind raises dust on the gravel. Lizards hunt. Sudden gusts threaten exposed insects. Beneath the surface, the larva continues to feed. Time passes. Its body grows, segmented. The stored food supply diminishes. The larva weaves a small cocoon, wrapping itself in silk. The change begins. From within the cocoon, the transformation accelerates. Wings form, legs strengthen, eyes darken. The larva becomes a pupa, then an adult bee, small but complete. Finally, the earth softens after a light rain. The new bee bursts forth, antennae quivering and wings flapping. It emerges alive from the light and dust. Hunger drives it to the nearest flower. Instinct guides it to seek food, to survive, to continue the cycle. But as the days pass, the flowers wither, the ground dries up again, the bees retreat to their burrows. Some lay eggs that will spend the winter safely underground. Meanwhile, above 3,000 meters, the air becomes thinner. Here in the puna, a guanaco grazes. High above, a puma crouches among volcanic rocks. Its tawny fur blends with the earth. The guanaco raises its head, nostrils flaring, but it's too late. The puma pounces, hooves thunder, stones scatter. The cat approaches, jumps, and with a crushing weight throws its prey to the ground, and just like that it was over. The winds continue to scream across the plateau. The grass lies pressed against the ground, brittle from the cold. The puna extends far and wide. This is the roof of the Andes. This is the home of the vicuñas, Llama vicuña, slender and delicate with golden fur and dark, watchful eyes. Nearby, their heavier cousins, the guanacos, move with slower, more measured strides. Every day starts the same. Dawn breaks abruptly. The sun scorches through the thin air. The frost melts on the boglands. They are green, spongy meadows fed by hidden springs. The herds descend, heads bowed, teeth snipping at the short blades of grass. They graze constantly, lips twitching, jaws gnashing. Vicuñas stay close to wet meadows, delicate bodies, small bellies. Their coats retain heat, but their bodies remain slim. Guanacos range more widely. Larger and stronger, they cross open slopes, forging their way to higher altitudes when the grasslands clear. They tolerate leaner forage, scraping lichens and stiff grasses, but even they must return to the water. When they do, their noses sink into lagoons. Their snouts get wet in the icy pools. In summer, it rains. The puna turns green. The wetlands teem with life. The herds expand, grazing freely. Here, a mother vicuña stirs nervously, a tremor of movement. Birth begins, muscles tense. Breathing becomes shallow and shallow. Around her, other mothers graze, alert. The minutes pass. A thin calf slides across the damp grass. Its legs are trembling, but it stands up with difficulty. The mother gently nudges it with her snout, guiding it to her side. Shortly after, a shadow passes on the distant hillside, a caracara circling, searching. The mother stiffens, neck extended, ears erect. She positions herself between the cub and the sky, her body crouched, ready to kick if the predator approaches. The cub trembles. Other mothers close ranks. The cubs huddle in the center, forming a protective circle. A gust of wind carries the faint call of a distant Andean fox. Alert, the mothers stomp, snort, and wag their tails. The danger is present, but for now the pack holds on. The newborn calf takes hesitant, stumbling steps to find its rhythm. Its mother milks it. The mother stays by its side, pushing it, herding it with precision as it learns to graze. The sun rises higher, the wind whips, the herd moves slowly through the wetlands. The days go by, then weeks, then months. Winter returns. Snow sweeps across the plateau. The grass becomes stiff. The water is trapped in the ice. The forage shrinks. The flocks are gathering closer together. The vicuñas huddle together, tightly packed, their breath forming clouds of steam. The guanacos form dense groups, moving in unison along the icy slopes. Their bodies conserve heat. Their abundance protects them from predators. The balance here is fragile. A shadow slips across the distant ridge, muscles tense beneath the tawny fur. The gaze is fixed. The puma waits. The pack moves, the cubs zigzagging, the mothers approaching. A young male moves a little closer, distracted by a clump of grass. The puma's gaze is fixed on him. Suddenly the predator pounces, its muscles tense, its tail whipping to maintain balance. It lunges forward, its paws silent on the grass. The vicuñas react instantly. Cries of alarm pierce the air. The mothers spin, stamping their hooves, pumping their feet. The young vicuñas run, trying to keep pace. The attacked calf stumbles on a slippery area near the edge of a bog. The puma seizes the moment. Its powerful jaws clamp down, sinking its teeth into the nape of the neck. The struggle is brief. The calf writhes, kicking with its hooves and its eyes wide open. The mother turns back, head down, teeth bared, her hooves thrashing in the air, but she can't save her young. Others form a protective semicircle, but the puma is already dragging its prey toward the safety of nearby rocks. Soon, it disappears into the shadows, victory assured. The pack hesitates, ears twitching, bodies tense. The cubs tremble, the mothers snort and stomp. Once calmed, the remaining herd resumes grazing. Cautious, alert. Herds survive by being vigilant. Sentinels stand tall, ears perked, throats ready to shout alarm. At the first sign, the herd flees, hooves clattering, scattering across the plain. The vicuñas form small groups, each led by a dominant male. He protects fiercely, charging at his rivals and chasing them with high-pitched barks. Their harem feeds nearby, with the young at their side. Only the strongest males dominate the territory. The rest wander in bachelor groups, waiting for their opportunity. The guanacos gather in larger, less dispersed groups. At night, the plateau becomes hard. Temperatures drop below freezing. The herds lie down in hollows, legs together and bodies pressed together. Their breath forms clouds that float and vanish in the icy, thin air. The hours drag on. The cold intensifies, but dawn always comes, and with it the slow march back to the wetlands. Meanwhile, the puna is restless. A hunter moves, his muscles tense beneath his tawny fur. His eyes scan every slope, every clump of grass. The silence is absolute. The puma concolor, stops, tail swishing. A herd of vicuñas grazes in the distance, legs tense, breathing pauses. The predator descends the ridge. A gust of wind changes direction. The scent of the herd rises. The nose twitches. The ears turn. The puma judges the distance. Timing is everything. The vicuñas raise their heads. The ears move. The young approach their mothers, cautious. The predator freezes. One false step and the hunt is lost. The minutes pass. The puma is getting closer and closer. The grass bends beneath weightless steps. Rocks offer shelter. Your gaze falls on a young male, distracted by the tender shoots. Suddenly a surge, muscles tense. The tail twitches for balance. The puma lunges forward. The pack senses movement. Alarm calls spread through the wetlands. Mothers spin. The legs are pumping. The calves move and lunge. But the prey has been captured. The fight is brief. A blow, a final kick. The predator drags the prize toward the shaded rocks. Not far away, a den is hidden beneath a rocky outcrop. Shadowy crevices conceal the mother and her cubs. Inside, the cubs stir. Their tiny eyes blink in the dimness. They stretch, yawn, and whimper softly. Their mother watches, her muscles tense beneath her tawny fur. Outside, distant hooves echo over the wetlands. A call is raised. Alarmed vicuñas, a predator on the move. The mother stiffens. She rotates her ears. She twitches her tail once. Her pups inch closer, their tiny bodies trembling. She stirs, muscles tense, ready to move if danger approaches the den, but the sound is distant. Open pursuit is not hers. She will not expose herself, not while their young are so vulnerable. The minutes drag on. The wind carries distant scents, vicuñas, grass, and another puma hunting. She sniffs, alert, and then lowers her head. Her cubs begin to settle in, snuggling beneath her warmth. Their eyes never leave the entrance. Any intruder who came too close would be met with its sharp claws and teeth. Outside, the distant predator drags its prize across the shaded rocks. The mother puma remains hidden inside. Don't worry, looking. As dusk approaches, the first puma, after feeding, climbs onto a rocky ridge. He settles into a shallow depression, his ears twitching, his eyes half closed, listening for the slightest sound. From the darkness, a fox slinks near the edge of a distant pool. The birds perch, the rodents slip away. The puma is agitated, the muscles flex, a reflection, not a chase. Tonight is a break. Another hunt will take place tomorrow. When the morning sun illuminates the peaks, the Andean condor, Vultur gryphus, takes flight. Its wings are wider than a man is tall, its black feathers gleam in the light, its white collar shines against its throat. The condor rides the wind. Updrafts lift it higher. Thermal after thermal, it ascends, from the snow line to the sky. With just a flap of its wings, it soars, tracing wide arcs over the puna. The terrain at its feet lies exposed. Grasslands, lagoons, arid slopes. Even from this astonishing height, it observes every movement. The condor does not hunt. He is waiting. He watches, seek death. Below, vicuñas graze. One falters. Dizziness sets in. It stumbles and falls. The condor is already circling downward. But it's not alone. Foxes sniff the air, yet its size gives it dominance. It lands heavily, wings outstretched, claiming the feast. The smaller birds disperse. A fox stands there, growling. But a snap of the condor's beak, a charge, makes him retreat. This food belongs to the giant. Its beak tears flesh with ease. It strips muscle, tendon, and entrails. Nothing is wasted. The condor feeds until its crop swells. Days pass in an endless glide. The condor can travel more than 200 kilometers in a single arc, all without even a flutter. Below, the terrain shifts, ridges, valleys, salt flats. But life is not all flying and partying. Nesting begins once a year, high on inaccessible cliffs above glacial valleys and windswept crags. Condors claim their home. Rugged faces protect them from predators. Cavities and ledges shelter the next generation. A pair lands in unison. They preen, sing, and perch. United for life, they defend this site from their rivals. The female lays a single egg, large, chalky white, fragile, beautiful. She lands on it immediately. Warmth and vigilance combine. The male perches nearby, scanning the valleys. Hours turn into days. The egg is rotated and gently pushed. Their feathers protect them from the icy gusts of wind. Both parents are tireless. One feeds and cares, while the other spreads its wings in the thermal currents, ready to hunt or scare away intruders. Below, vicuñas graze on the puna. Guanacos roam the distant slopes. The foxes roam, always alert. But the cliff remains untouched. Weeks pass. The egg begins to tremble. Small cracks appear. A faint chirp echoes inside the shell. The female moves, alert. The male flutters on the ledge, watchful. Finally, a chick emerges, wet, clumsy, with its eyes open. It resists, flapping its thin wings. The mother protects him by wrapping him in feathers protectively. The father remains close, vigilant and ready to intercept any threat. The chick rests, shivering in the warmth of its mother. Its small cries call for food. The parents alternate flights, searching for scraps on the ground and returning with scraps. The chick stretches awkwardly, flapping its wings against the wind. Its cries are soft but urgent. A caracara flies nearby, its eyes alert and its claws ready. The chick trembles. The mother stiffens, her feathers ruffled and her eyes fixed. The father circles, wings angled, scanning every crest. Thermal currents lift him effortlessly. He dives, screaming, talons ready. The caracara veers, frightened by the sudden attack. The mother spreads her wings and her tail fans out. The chick crouches, nestled among soft feathers. The parents rotate, alternating between flight and vigilance. The caracara tests again, daring to approach. A flap of wings, a harassed song, and it retreats once more. Hours pass. The threat diminishes. Calm returns to the ledge. The chick cautiously explores, stepping on stones, testing its balance. The parents remain vigilant. Months pass before it unfolds its first wings. They are heavy and unwieldy. The cliff is both cradle and prison. One false step could mean death. But instinct drives him. It beats its wings against the air again and again, strengthening its muscles. Finally, the moment arrives. The chick takes off. The fall is terrifying. The air catches it. It soars. The cycle begins again. The condor's life is long, 40 years, 50, even more in nature. But their world is shrinking. Humans hunt, falsely fearing that condors will kill livestock. Lead fragments poison their blood when they feed on carcasses left by hunters. Power lines interfere with flight paths. Habitats are shrinking. The sky is becoming dangerous. Yet the condor endures. Protected in reserves, venerated in Andean tradition. For the Incas, it was a messenger of the gods uniting earth and sky. Even today, its vast wings are an imposing presence. For now, icy winds whip across the grasslands. Ice crystals form at dawn, melt at noon, and then return at night. Yet in the still waters of alpine lagoons, a dragonfly, Telebasis symbiont, floats. Its body gleams metallically in the sun. Its transparent wings beat furiously. Born in water, transformed into flight, its short life is spent in fierce urgency. Beneath the surface, her nymph stage is ruthless. Equipped with extendable jaws, it ambushes larvae, tadpoles, and even small fish. Weeks of feeding fuel its final change. One morning it clings to a reed. Its skin cracks. A new body emerges, shiny, fragile, shivering in the cold air. For a few hours, wait, dry wings. The muscles harden, then it takes off. Their mission, to reproduce. Time is short. At this altitude, the seasons are short. Only with the summer rains do the lagoons swell and life spring forth. In a matter of weeks, the dragonfly must find a mate, lay eggs, and die. It moves swiftly over the water, observing every ripple with its gaze. Small insects flutter near the surface, mosquitoes, small beetles, mosquito larvae. Each capture feeds his waning strength. A pair appears. They hover beside her. A quick courtship dance begins. They intertwine in the air, briefly clinging, then separate. The eggs fall delicately to the surface of the lagoon, sinking into hidden nooks beneath the floating plants. Storm clouds gather. The wind whips through the wetlands, stirring the reeds and churning the shallow pools. The dragonfly withstands the gusts, clinging to a reed when necessary. Life here is fragile, fleeting. A few days of warmth and still water determine survival. Predators circle around unseen. Small birds swoop down to catch insects. Tadpoles dart to the surface. Even a hungry nymph lurking below might snag the unwary. Yet it persists, flying, feeding, reproducing. The sun sets. Still it hovers once more, depositing its last eggs in a small eddy. With this, your work is done. The season will decide how many will survive to emerge next summer. Night falls. The dragonfly rests on a reed, its wings folded and its body motionless. Soon the cold air will halt its flight, but behind it, countless nymphs lie hidden beneath the water, waiting, ready to re-emerge when the rains return. Life persists. Even in the high Andean puna, nearby a water beetle, Nebrioporus ceres, emerges, a quick gasp of air, trapped beneath its wings like a diving bell. Then it dives again. Legs flap, talons sweep, the surface ripples. Mosquito larvae float unbidden. A single movement, a snap, a small meal was claimed. The beetle glides beneath the floating reeds. Eyes alert, antennae probing the currents. Shadows move above. A small bird flutters, searching for insects. The beetle moves deeper, its wings folded tightly, streamlined. Predators pass by, fooled by its speed and stealth. The hours drag on. The beetle flies over the lagoon, hunting, feeding, surviving. Oxygen bubbles rise, legs clack, mandibles snap. The sun rises, temperatures rise. The water begins to warm. The beetle pauses briefly under a submerged stone. Tiny larvae move nervously nearby. A calculated blow, another meal. However, the high season in the Puna is short. Storm clouds roll in from the Andes. The gusts churn the lagoon. The beetle maintains its course, hiding beneath the vegetation. The currents twist. Visibility decreases. Still, it hunts. Weeks pass, the water level drops, the edges shrink, cracks appear in the mud, the beetle's senses change. It buries itself in the soft mud, its legs dug in and its wings folded. Beneath the surface, life slows, metabolism decreases. A temporary lethargy sets in. It waits. Below, the larvae grow. New beetles emerge the next season, continuing the cycle. Above, the high-altitude sun briefly scorches the lagoon, but life persists below. When the rains return, the snow melts and the ponds swell again. The beetle will re-emerge. Meanwhile, on the stony margins, a caddisfly larva, Smicridea annulicornis, drags its nest along the bottom of the lagoon. Pebbles, twigs, grains of sand, all carefully wrapped in silk. Each piece is a shield, a camouflage. The fish dart near. Beetles lurk beneath the surface, but the larva remains hidden. Inside, it silently feeds on algae and floating debris. Days pass. Currents change, sediment shifts, temperatures fluctuate. The larva adapts, changing its shell, protecting it from sudden gusts and surges of water. Weeks later, the change comes. The case is solved. Inside, the transformation begins. The soft-bodied larva slowly reorganizes. Muscles develop, wings form, and the exoskeleton hardens. One morning it breaks free. The silken shell shatters. The fragile wings gleam in the high-altitude sun. The adult stands up. From the shaded lagoon to the open sky, it hovers briefly, testing its balance, then joins a swarm. Clouds of delicate bodies float across the water. Some rise, others dive in the gusts. Above, birds circle. Ducks, small passerines, and the occasional raptor. In an instant, a few caddisflies disappear into the beaks. Others escape, carried in thermals, destined to continue the cycle. Adults mate. The eggs are laid back into the water, hidden among stones and submerged plants. A new generation waits beneath the surface, from the hyperarid core to the fog-fed hills, from the salt flats to the high Andean lagoons. The geography of the Atacama dictates every story. Some species feed under a scorching sun. Others dance in the fleeting clouds above the alpine waters. Each niche is precise. Each microhabitat is a world in itself. The desert may seem arid at first glance, but amidst the rock, sand, salt and fog, life persists. It adapts, it survives, it flourishes. The Atacama is not a uniform wasteland. It's a mosaic of extremes. Here life is fragile, fleeting, yet astonishingly tenacious.